Hello everybody, welcome back to another Thoughts on a particular show. Yeah, I don't know, I don't have a name of these. So anyway, this time we're going to do Star Wars Rebels. Wait a minute, am I supposed to do Code Lyoko? Why is this here? Okay, so here's the thing. I was not intended to make this video. And when I did intend to make this video, the footage I had for it got deleted. So, this is actually my second take of doing this. Like weeks later. So here we go. So to catch up on where I was when I make this video, okay? The Mandalorian Season 3 Episode 2 was the latest episode at the time of me making this particular video. So around that time, I was kind of sick. And, you know, I really wanted to watch some more Star Wars content. And so I said, you know what? I haven't seen Rebels at all. So I might as well go see Rebels. And for the next several days, I binged the show. Now, normally, when I do, like, my, my opinions and stuff about these shows, I usually, you know, take it as slow as possible. And then, you know, get all of my notes, you know, as soon as they pop up. And then, you know, slowly and methodically, just wait a long time before these, you know, making this kind of video. But in this, I just binged through the whole series. It's kind of early My Little Pony now I think about it. Well, anyway, so yeah, I think that for whenever I finish Code Lyoko Season 3 and 4, I think I'm just going to just binge the whole thing, like, without much of a care about, you know, notes until I actually start making the video. Which is going to be hard because I had a lot of these notes on Patreon for Code Lyoko, but none on this. So I think that's probably going to be what I'm going to do from now on. Plus, I still need to rewatch, because I know I've seen, like, a few of the Code Lyoko Season 3 episodes. I haven't seen much at all. Well, anyway. Well, the point is, we are doing Rebels right now. And by the time you're watching this video, The Mandalorian Season 3 would have ended by now. So yeah, I've been a bit of a big Star Wars fan, just so you know. I haven't, like, been too much of a Star Wars fan, like, early on. I'm just more, like, I wouldn't say recent-ish either, but yeah, I've been becoming more of a Star Wars fan. I've been seeing them, you know, seeing the main movies, seeing the sequels, which may or may not be actual movies, but that's kind of the direction they're going anyway. And I haven't seen Rebels at all because at the time when Rebels was new, I was kind of put off by Rebels' art design because I did like the you know, the art direction or the art style of the Clone Wars. Was seeing Rebels be a lot more cleaner, smoother, just feels kind of weird. And to this day, I still think it's kind of weird, but like after seeing the Bad Batch, just got going back to like what it should be, and I feel like yeah, that was right. But anyway, I'm not talking about the Bad Batch. We're talking about Rebels. So, as usual, we're gonna do the segments I normally do. These are my favorite, least favorite character, my favorite and least favorite episodes, and favorite, least favorite moments. And like a bit after the favorite characters, I'm going to talk about, you know, what I think of the main characters. So anyway, let's just go straight to it. What is my favorite character in Res? It's Maul. It's Maul, 100%. Like it's like a kind of a no question that this crazed mad lad is my favorite character in Rebels. Cause like this guy owns every scene he's in. Cause I remember when you keep hearing about the the Force Awakens, that the reason why like Luke wasn't prominently in the Force Awakens because he easily eats up all of the attention everywhere he goes. This is probably what they probably mean with adding Maul into Rebels. He just owns everything he's in. It's even I know the last season of Clone Wars happened like after all of Rebels happened, but even then, Maul in Clone Wars owns every scene he's in. So it's kind of weird that like you would think that a character that like has like barely like significance like in the Phantom Menace would end up being the coolest character in Star Wars. Well, not the coolest character in Star Wars, but like relatively speaking compared to everything else around him, he's gonna be the coolest character. So yeah, Maul's here because he is absolutely crazy, and he's just he's again eats up all the attention everywhere he goes. Even up to his own death, he's probably one of the best scenes in Star Wars. And I have that as a favorite moment, but I'll get to it when I get to it. So for right now, Maul's easily my favorite character, like by a lot. But like, who is my least favorite character? Hear me out. Vader. Now you're wondering why. Well, here's the thing. Vader doesn't show up much in Rebels. One shows up on probably the most important episode of the series, but he doesn't do much in it. He's just there as a setup piece for a cool moment. So it's kind of, I'm going to talk about this later, but my least favorite episodes also like this, is that it's just all it does is set up for the cool moment, but the rest about it is just kind of lame. I'll also talk about something related to Vader in that particular episode, but if I want more like a more recurring character that I don't like in Rebels, it's the fifth brother. I just feel like he's just kind of not worth even talking about. Like he's just kind of bland, kind of boring, and it's kind of like not an interesting character at all. And then I realized, wait a minute. That guy isn't the same Inquisitor that's in Kenobi that didn't like either. Because remember, I saw Kenobi before Rebels. Like I saw Rebels like after like all the other things up to like Mandalorian season 3. Okay, I've seen all of the Star Wars Disney Plus prior to this. Well, except for Resistance, I'll probably get to Resistance later. But like yeah, I didn't like Fifth Brother Kenobi either, and I realized, oh wait, that's the same guy from Kenobi. Man, I don't like him. So yeah. Especially considering, like, Seven Sisters is a really cool character in Rebels, like, where she's in. Like, because you more, so then focusing, hunting Jedi, go chasing after Jedi, lightsaber fight. No, Seven Sisters, like, tends to focus on, like, droids and, like, recons and stuff. I feel like that's a cooler take for a Jedi hunter than just, show up, big, strong dude, menacing, red lightsaber, cuts everything right in their path. Honestly, like, it works for some characters like Vader. It doesn't work all the time. So anyway, those are my least favorite characters. So I didn't talk about the main characters yet, mostly because I think Maul is more. It's just cooler than all the main characters. So what are my main character rankings? So remember last time I did a video with Code Lyoko, I made a ranking of my favorite characters in order. Of my favorite to least favorite of the main characters. I'm going to do this here, and I'm going to do this when I continue with Code Lyoko. So here we go. The main character rankings are Hera, Kanan, Chopper, Ezra, Sabine, Zeb. So why is this the case? So I think that Hera is actually the best main character because I feel like she is the most, I wouldn't say consistently developed character, but more like he's an already developed character who's still developing and ends up being a very good character start to finish. Does she need all the development that Ezra has? Not really, but she does get some, and she kind of does have some, needed qualities to be, I wouldn't say a leader character, but she kind of is a leader of the group, if you think about it, even more than Kanan is. Now, speaking of Kanan, I actually didn't like him early on. I was actually considering putting him last on the main character rankings up until, like, the last season where dude actually dies. So, yeah, it's really up until, like, the last season of Rebels where Kanan starts to get insanely good. Like, it begins, like, really good too late. That's what I feel like what Kanan is. Kanan is a character that starts out bad, but, like, when it gets to the end, he ends up being, like, shot out to being really good, to be worth at number 2. Chopper is number 3 because, like, it says being a droid, but it still counts as one of the main characters. And Chopper is hilarious. Like, Chopper is, like, absolutely rude and crude for a droid. Like, you don't usually see that in especially astromech droids. Like, oh, you compare every astromech droid to R2-D2. And yes, R2 is quite savage in his own right, but, like, Chopper is something else. So, I do feel like Chopper is, like, worth the 3 slot because he's actually quite fun, despite being an astromech droid who can't even talk. Force Ezra, but again, he's, like, the main character. Like, he's not terrible as a main character. Like, you could tell Ezra is, like, from the start, is just, not very developed, but then that's kind of the point. It's, like, the point of him being the main character, trying to be, like, oh, a character who's, like, orphaned, like, the beginning, and starts, good slowly starting to learn how to be a Jedi, then starting to get, like, really good. But it's very clear that, like, Ezra is Rey, but done right. Well, and the thing, yes, I guess I've seen, like, the sequel movies, and yeah, I was kind of reminded early on that Ezra and Rey had something similar going on at the start. They're trying to reach a similar end goal, but Ezra does it better. But then mostly because he has like, more traditional Jedi teachings, with the whole Jedi temples, and has a Jedi for a teacher. Rey doesn't really have anything like that. I mean, I don't blame the actors or anything. I'm just saying it's just a poorly written character. But Ezra, at least he starts out as a poorly written character on purpose, but starts to get really, really good. Anyway, Sabine is 5th because I feel like she has been consistently, I feel like, Sabine's like, she's consistently alright as a character. Because, honestly, like, I feel like she, like, compared to Hera's actually, like, a better character, cooler character all throughout, but also consistent being a cool character. Sabine tries to be a cool character, but she just kind of a bit under Hera. Everyone else has some sort of development going on, but, like, Sabine's just kind of consistent. And it's kind of funny seeing Sabine, like, you see Sabine after watching a bunch of Mandalorian. If you, like, it's more, I really think about it, man, she doesn't wear a helmet all that often. But, like, yeah, that's just kind of just a thing within Jar and his group. Like, they don't take off their helmets, and Sabine does a lot. And they're reminding of Bo-Katan. And then I remember all the things and theories going on about, Bo-Katan didn't deserve the Darksaber, etc., etc. Who cares? She has it now. Anyway. And Zeb is last because I feel like he has, like, one good episode. He has one good episode. But, like, aside from that one good episode, he just there as the muscle. And just there as the muscle. And, like, try to foil Ezra, who tends to start all the problems. But that's kind of what Zeb is. Again, I like that one episode, but that one episode is nowhere near my favorites. It's kind of like top 5 of my favorite episodes, but Zeb only has one good episode, really. Maybe he does have 2, but, like, one good episode where he's trapped with Callus. And then, started to get along. And, yeah, that's good development, but that's kind of where he ends, really. It's funny, I originally made this video before that one scene in Mandalorian where he just randomly shows up. So, with that hindsight, now, it's kind of funny that, like, out of the whole Ghost crew, Zeb shows up in live action first. I feel like that's kind of the best move between all of them, that Zeb shows up first. Because I feel like Zeb is, like, the least developed character out of all of them, in my personal opinion. Him showing up first is kind of a big indication that, holy crud, Rebels content's coming. And until a bit later that, we know about the Ahsoka series that's about to come in. And, like, Sabine's a big part of it. So, yeah, that's a really cool thing to have in hindsight, out of, like, after making the original video for this video. And it got deleted. I can tell you why I accidentally deleted that video, but that's not important. Well, anyway, we're done with the main character rankings. Let's go with my favorite and least favorite episodes. So, my favorite episode, of course, I think it's probably everybody's favorite episode. The Season 2 finale, Twilight of the Apprentice, is just good overall. Maul content all around. We got the Ahsoka Vader fight. And, like, it's just, like, absolutely, like, top tier. I want to say top tier. Well, among Rebels, it's top tier. Start from front to back. It's pretty pretty sick episode. It's definitely worth a season finale. Honestly, it's really cool, really hype. I actually do remember watching the Ahsoka Vader fight, on YouTube well before I started Rebels, and it had that scene, the Ahsoka Vader fight. It was kind of cool, but because I did, I'm going to talk about that in my least favorite segment. So anyway, that's my favorite episode. My least favorite episode. Okay, so before I go with least favorite episode, I need to tell you something what I feel about Rebels as like a whole. I kind of do like Rebels in the fact that it doesn't have any filler. Because yes, like there are like small fillery episodes, but like none too fillery. Because I feel like every episode of Rebels has some sort of meaning or payoff later. So, because all you have to do, there's some shows that even I like that there's some sort of fillery content you can just skip, and nothing of consequence would be missed. In Rebels, if you miss one episode, you probably will miss something. That being said, Season 1, Episode 7, Out of Darkness is my least favorite episode in the context that, like, you don't really need the information that presented in this episode later. The only thing you need to know about episode is, there's a thing called Agent Fulcrum. You don't really need to know that, like, immediately. You could just, like, skip to the next episode that mentions it, and then you'll be fine. You don't have to worry about, knowing, it's a character named Agent Fulcrum, whatever. I think that is the most fillery of Rebels. The fact you could skip it and not much of consequence will be lost. Now, for another least favorite episode, here we go. I'm going to mention this. Here we go. Season 3, Episode 20, Twin Suns is my second least favorite episode, or my least favorite episode, depending on context. Here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing. It has the insanity. It has probably the greatest, if not the second greatest moment in Star Wars history. But the problem I find is similar to why I don't like Vader, is that the entire episode is just a setup for the one moment. That's all it is. It's just a setup. Like, does Ezra need to go by himself and by him and Chopper to Tatooine to find Obi-Wan? Not really. Is there a reason like why they would go to Tatooine? Probably. Trump may think, Ezra may think they might get to, get Obi-Wan to join in the rebellion, or maybe I don't think they knew about Maul going there prior. But whatever. Yeah, Ezra did need to be. It turns out that like at the end of the episode, Ezra didn't need to go there in the first place. Like he came in. The only thing of note that the rest of the series got out of the series finale is that Ezra has Maul's ship now. That's it. Like you wouldn't even notice it. Like when we see the finale, you don't even notice it. But yeah, it sets up for the moment. Let's talk about it right now. Let's set up for the moment where Maul dies, and it's probably the coolest scene in Star Wars. Cause I have seen this clip, the clips of the death scene several times well before I saw Rebels. I have seen an analysis of that one fight of the 3 strikes that make up this scene, like, and how absolutely perfect and how like parallel it is to Maul's fight with Qui-Gon in Phantom Menace, and how like Obi-Wan uses that knowledge to trick Maul into using the same movement and then countering it. Like I've seen all the the dialogue that shows up, prior to the moment. Maul saying to Obi-Wan, "Why are you here? You protecting something? No, someone." And immediately Obi-Wan lights up his lightsaber, or he didn't before. This entire scene is epic. Like, and I knew about the scene beforehand, and it's still probably one of the best scenes in Star Wars history. It's just that good. Now, aside that, when it comes to another scene that I've known about before, but like didn't really care that much about, was in season 2, episode 18, Shadow of Darkness, where the temple guard knights Kanan as a Jedi Knight. That particular duel with Kanan and the temple guard was pretty cool itself. Like you see some also the cool things there, and it's kind of funny how the temple guard ended up being the Grand Inquisitor, or at least like a form of him, like somehow. But yeah, it's pretty neat. I like the duel in there. I like the dialogue. I want to say the I don't know what the words I'm looking for are, but like how Kanan really doesn't want to especially doesn't want to give up Ezra to the darkness, that sort of thing. Vader tries to be the best teacher he could be, even though Ezra's clearly going to be stronger sooner or later. But yeah, it was pretty sick. I like that. I also really like the background, how like the guy's in the temple, but like the appearance is that of like a Japanese style dojo, but with lightsabers. I really like the setting on that. That's probably why I like that scene in the first place. Was because of the setting. It feels like that particular room was pretty dang cool. Anyway, last segment for the video, my least favorite moment. I have two of them, but I'm gonna talk about the one I've been I've been talking about this whole video, and that is in the duel between Ahsoka and Vader. Vader says the following line, "Then you will die." Now, the reason why I don't like this moment is because I've been spoiled for something way better. I have seen like edits of people changing Darth Vader's voice several ways to make that particular line way better. So, like, you can make it sound like, instead of, Darth Vader talking in like this half Anakin, half Darth Vader voice, and that when he says that line exactly, I've seen an edit of them completely changing to Darth Vader, or as having some sort of a better like balance between the sounds of Anakin and Darth Vader, or maybe have like the Sith eyes, which are yellow. So there's so many different ways to edit this particular line to make it much more menacing. But that's actually seeing the real thing, the real original, feels kind of bland. It just feels kind of off. So it's really not the episode's fault, just that I've been spoiled for something way better before watching this particular moment for this video. And now for my actual least favorite moment. That was not my least favorite moment. Like, that duel was still really cool. Overall, just that one line that I got spoiled for something better. But that's not my least favorite moment. My least favorite moment is actually very insignificant. And it's something that, like, I was actually, like, mad about. Well, not exactly mad about. I was like, wait, what? How the heck did this happen? So, there's this one small, insignificant thing that just kind of happened. And that is, in the finale, Sabine was talking, about what happened with every other character, right? The and then this character did thing for finale, right? So in Hera's case, she was flying, flying, but with a kid, and the kid turns out to be her son with Kanan. How did that happen? It's like, what part of Rebels? Like, at what point did Hera and Kanan did the thing to make the baby? Like, where did this come from? Like did they actually did it while trapped in Lothal? Did they do it while still in that base on that other planet I forgot the name of? Like, and they didn't even profess their love or anything until like the exact last possible moment. Like, how did this happen? Like at what point did all this happen? And like, I was looking at the wiki too about like what possible time frame could this happen? But like, I feel like it's more like in S37, I think. that like the only possible time they could probably do this while they're stuck in Lothal, while they're like sneaking around together. That's pretty much the only time they could possibly do it. And I was thinking, wait a minute, you guys are doing it while in the middle of a zone, a very dangerous zone? What the heck? Like, and also realizing the name of the kid's Jason Singular, kind of a reference to Jason Solo. It's actually a nice reference to the Legends continuity. It's kind of cool. Speaking of Legends continuity, it's kind of cool that like Star Wars Disney canon is diving more and more onto the Star Wars EU, even though I have no connection to the EU at all. I'm not that much of a Star Wars fan, but like it's kind of cool that they're like diving into the lore that's already been established before Disney wiped that off of canon. I thought it kind of cool, like especially Thrawn. Thrawn's like absolutely a menace, but like yeah, just throwing like some minor references, like a name in particular, is pretty cool. But seriously, how the heck did Hera got that kid? How the heck did Caden get that kid? Well, anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope I don't remember to actually, don't forget to delete it. So yeah, I hope that I actually remember to actually edit this before I delete this video. See ya guys later. Hopefully I can go back to Ko Lyoko.